You've probably heard stories about Hollywood, right? Glamour, stars, big movie premieres. But what about the stories that happen behind the scenes? The ones that are darker, more dangerous, and involve figures you'd only expect to see in the movies themselves. Today, we're diving into one of those stories, a clash of titans from two very different worlds, the silver screen and the criminal underworld. This is the incredible and very real story of how a powerful mafia boss threatened one of America's most beloved movie stars. It all starts with a phone call. Not just any phone call, but the kind that makes your blood run cold. On one end, a Hollywood icon, a household name. On the other, the chilling voice of a man who controlled a criminal empire. The message was simple and brutal. Do what we say or else. But this wasn't a movie script. This was real life. The movie star wasn't just an actor. He was caught in a web spun by one of the most feared mob families in the country. To really understand what happened, we need to go back in time. The mafia's influence in Hollywood wasn't just a myth. It was a deeply embedded reality. From financing films to controlling unions and even dictating casting choices, their reach was long and their methods were effective. They saw Hollywood as a cash cow, a glamorous front for laundering money and exerting power. Actors, producers, studio heads. Many knew it was wise to stay on the mob's good side. But what happens when someone doesn't play along? Or worse, what happens when they get in the way of a major mob operation? That's when things get personal. Our story centers on a film, a big-budget production with a lot on the line. The mob had a vested interest in this project, and they had their own ideas about how things should go. They wanted a specific actor in a key role, not for his talent, but for his connections and his willingness to be their puppet. But the studio and the star of the film had other plans. They wanted the best person for the job, someone who would make the movie a hit. This disagreement, this simple casting choice, was the spark that lit a very dangerous fuse. The star of our story, let's call him Jack, was at the top of his game. He had fame, fortune, and the power to get movies made. He was known for his integrity and his refusal to be pushed around. When the mob's suggestion for the co-star came through, Jack and the director politely refused. They had already cast someone else. They thought that would be the end of it. They were wrong. This wasn't a negotiation. It was a demand. And the mafia does not like being told no. That's when the calls started. At first, they were subtle. Friendly advice from connected producers. Hints that it would be good for everyone if they reconsidered their casting choice. But Jack stood firm. He believed in artistic integrity and wasn't about to let gangsters dictate his creative decisions. As his resistance grew, the mob's tactics escalated. The friendly advice turned into veiled threats. It would be a shame if something happened on set. You have a beautiful family. You should think about them. The psychological pressure was immense. The man making these threats was no low-level thug. He was the boss, the head of a powerful crime family known for its ruthlessness. Let's call him Capo. Capo wasn't used to being defied, especially not by a Hollywood actor. To him, it was a matter of respect. He saw Jack's refusal not just as a business problem, but as a personal insult. So, he decided to deliver the message himself. Imagine this. You're one of the biggest stars in the world, and you pick up your private line. The voice on the other end is calm, almost casual, but laced with pure menace. It's Capo. He doesn't shout. He doesn't scream. He simply lays out the consequences. He tells Jack that accidents happen. The movie sets can be dangerous places. That his career, and maybe more, could end overnight. The threat wasn't just implied anymore. It was explicit. The capo made it crystal clear. Either the mob's actor gets the part, or Jack would pay a price he couldn't even imagine. This is the moment the story takes a legendary turn. Jack was scared, who wouldn't be? But he was also angry. He had worked his whole life to get where he was, and he wasn't going to let a gangster tear it all down. But he knew he couldn't fight the mafia alone. He was a movie star, not a street fighter. He needed protection. He needed someone who could speak the mob's language, someone they would listen to, someone they feared. So he made a call of his own. He reached out to another powerful figure, a man who straddled the line between the legitimate world and the underworld, a man often called the Godfather of Harlem, Bumpy Johnson. Now, Bumpy was a legend in his own right. A powerful crime boss, yes, but one who operated with his own code of honor. He was respected, feared, and known for protecting his community and his interests. And as it happened, Bumpy had a certain appreciation for the arts and the people in them. He understood power, and he didn't like outsiders from other families throwing their weight around in his territory, which included the vibrant world of entertainment. When Jack explained his situation to Bumpy, Bumpy listened patiently. He understood the stakes. This wasn't just about a movie role anymore, it was a power play. The Mafia was trying to make a move, to show everyone in Hollywood that they were in charge, and Bumpy wasn't having it. So Bumpy Johnson decided to intervene. He arranged a meeting. Not with Jack, but with Capo himself. Face to face. The details of that meeting are the stuff of legend, whispered about in hushed tones for decades. It wasn't a shootout in the street, it was a conversation. A negotiation between two incredibly powerful men. Bumpy didn't make threats. He didn't need to. He simply explained the new reality to Capo. He explained that the actor Jack was under his protection now. He explained that any move against Jack would be considered a move against him and his entire organization. He drew a line in the sand. Bumpy made it clear that while the mob might have influence, there were rules, there were boundaries. And Capo had just crossed one. The message was simple: leave the actor alone. The movie will be made the way he wants it to be made. This conversation is over. Coming from Bumpy Johnson, those words carried an incredible weight. Capo was a powerful man, but he was also a smart one. He knew that a war with Bumpy Johnson would be bad for business. It would be bloody, costly, and unpredictable. It wasn't worth it. Not for a movie role, and just like that, it stopped. The threatening phone calls ended. The pressure vanished. The actor the mob was pushing for was quietly dropped. Jack and his director made the film they wanted to make, with the cast they had chosen. The movie went on to be a massive success, and Jack's career soared even higher. He never spoke publicly about what happened. He never had to. The message had been sent and received. This story is a fascinating glimpse into a hidden world where Hollywood glamour collided with brutal underworld politics. It shows how real-life power dynamics can be more dramatic than any movie script. It was a showdown not of guns, but of influence. A battle of wills between a mafia boss, a Hollywood star, and the one man who could stand between them, Bumpy Johnson. It proves that sometimes the most incredible stories are the ones that are never told on the big screen. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden history of crime and culture. Let me know in the comments what other legendary clashes you'd like to hear about next. See you in the next video.